Pilgrims amass on the plains of Arafat, we back home prepare for the day of ul-Adha. Sacrifice is at the heart of this special day, and we got to learn more about it.
The village of Mvezo in the Eastern Cape is known as the birthplace of President Nelson Mandela. It is surrounded by rolling hills, and the Mbasha River twists and turns through the landscape. An event to commemorate Eid-ul-Adha was organized in conjunction with AWQAF SA and a Turkish relief agency. It was overseen by Chief Mandela, who is the traditional leader, a duty bestowed on him by his grandfather, Mthatha Madiba.
With the assistance of AWQAF South Africa, we have been able to make sure that in our president's home, His Excellency President Nelson Mandela, in his birthplace, we have been able to sacrifice 10 head of cattle that has been able to be given to the traditional leaders from the Mthatha and Mkanduli area, as well as the people that they govern over. The most poorest of the poor have been able to travel greater distances as far as Mthatha to come to Madiba's birthplace and to also celebrate with us on this sacrifice of Qurbani.
Guests travel from around the country to be part of what was to be a historic event. It started off with Chief Mandela giving a briefing on what was to transpire during the course of the day. Thereafter, Chief Mandela took the visitors on a tour of the village. They stopped at a local school that has become a beacon of light to the young learners from the surrounding area.
Well, a lot of people always see the global icon, Madiba, the man, the statesman, and the president, and the global icon, but can never truly relate to the man's legacy, the work on the grassroots level. And since Madiba is no more, we as a family have taken the baton where he left off and are continuing to champion the work that he did. And for having AWQAF South Africa visit us here, we wanted to ensure that they must go out there and see for themselves what we have done as this small community. I mean, we have been able to take them to one of our outstanding projects, the Mandela School of Science and Technology, where on our own, as the Mandela Royal Family and the Mvezo Traditional Council, were able to raise 100 million rands from a global company like Siemens that then was able to assist us in realizing our dream in building a state-of-the-art high school in the facility. You've never seen anything of its kind in rural Africa, I dare say so. And again, we moved from there and took them to the Makhatule Mandela Primary School, which was also supported and funded by the Dr. Chung Foundation, 30 million rands worth. It is also a beautiful institution, but also has its own minor challenges that AWQAF can be able to look into and support.
We're working with, this year, Alhamdulillah, is our first launch of project in the Eastern Cape. And we've come to Mvezo, which is Mandela's village, which is Madiba's village, basically. We said we'll work together with you, and this is just a handshake, as it were, to start off and plant the seeds. You know, as one sheikh put it, that the second Eid is a Eid about doing things. The first Eid is about fasting and developing your spirit. So we started doing things. Inshallah, we're hoping this will be the foundation of many projects to come.
After a few more stops, the guests made their way back to the wall, where locals waited to welcome them. This was followed by speeches about the roles of different organizations and how they could contribute to the upliftment of Mvezo.
We also looked at the IHH project with Al-Imdad Foundation, where they built a state-of-the-art preschool, early childhood development center for 5 million rands. But those institutes, even if we can speak on the numbers, still because of their locality being in a rural area, they have their own challenges. You look at the Makhatule Mandela Primary School, we still are subjected to a ratio of teacher per the numbers of children in the school. So the school right now is afforded 9 teachers, but in reality the school requires and needs to be able to run effectively and efficiently 15 teachers. So we are short of 6 teachers. AWQAF is now looking as to how it can assist to ensuring that we have a science teacher, a maths teacher, a computer lab teacher, as well as a maths teacher. These are the things that they will then be able to look into. If you look at the 5 million rand preschool that Mthatha Foundation was able to build with IHH, you are still having a dependence on parents that are volunteering to come and teach at the school, but they don't have actually any formal training whatsoever. Now, again, there's a gap there where AWQAF South Africa can be able to assist in training and capacitating these women to be able to give a proper Montessori kind of education to our young children in the early childhood development centers.
Ul-Adha is known as the festival of sacrifice, and this time was especially chosen to share with the people of Mvezo and Greater South Africa the significance as well as importance for all.
Well, there's a continuity of this particular relationship. The Muslim Judicial Council, and we have on record the exceptional relationship that Sheikh Nadeem Muhammad had enjoyed with Tata Madiba, was one of close friendship. And at the same time, he visited the offices of the Muslim Judicial Council. As the Muslim leadership, we identify with Chief Mandela and his vision. And there's a need for that continuity of that particular relationship. And so today, when this call was made that we need to have this historic occasion of the Qurbani year in Mvezo, we are saying that it is in actual fact a responsibility on our side, and it is a privilege for the Muslim Judicial Council to have been part of AWQAF SA, Diyanet Vakfi, and that we can be able to celebrate collectively, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, going into the future for the well-being of not only the Muslim community, but the broader South African society. We must be able to identify our core function and responsibility, and that is first and foremost that people must be able to see the beauty of Islam. People must be able to identify that the teachings of Islam is in line with the well-being of the honor and dignity and respect for humanity. The teachings of Islam is for the well-being that a person must be able to consider looking at the well-being not only of himself, moving away from self-centeredness to selflessness, and where we can be able to be just concentrating on our own selves as a community.
Maulana Abdul Khali came as a representative of the Muslim Judicial Council, who see events such as these as important tools for nation building.
Well, it is very important for us to understand that as citizens, we must be loyal citizens in our country. We must be patriotic. We must love our country. The freedom that South Africa, post-apartheid, has afforded the Muslim community is one of great significance. And as such, we must be able to embrace the wonderful opportunity that Allah gives us in our beautiful rainbow nation, where we can be able to practice our religion freely, where we can be able to live freely as Muslims, where we are able to, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, engage freely with all South Africans. And so, as a South African Muslim, we must continue in the legacy of our pious predecessors.
Rural communities are often left behind, but AWQAF are prioritizing the outreach they do here to benefit all of humanity.
Well, you know, AWQAF is about sustainability. And also, we feel that to get sustainability, you must have improved your quality of life. Okay, so if we can get involved in one community and adopt a community and make this a model community, and plant a few good seeds in this community, I think that's going to be long-term beneficial to the future of South Africa. So we play a small role, and we hope many other organizations adopt other communities to do the same thing.
Although this has been a very different Eid ul-Adha experience, it has held true to the principle on which the celebration is held. The selfless act of sacrifice made by Prophet Abraham and the compassion shown by Allah stands as a testament and lesson for all time.
That brings us